Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Abel Ferrara's new film, Padre Pio, which is based off of the saint, this priest who's part of the Roman Catholic Church, and this film takes place just after World War I, as Shia LaBeouf portrays Padre Pio in a context of Italy through the first three elections after the war and how shaping the future of this country leading into World War II and an age of fascism. And here's a tricky thing. This movie probably has like a fourth of the runtime actually dedicated to Padre Pio, which is so odd. Like, why even call this Padre Pio when it really is about Italy in general, and then you just have some spotlights on Padre Pio? Like, he could have just been part of the landscape of the context of this film, which is the shifting of what Italy was at World War I, where around that time, or even just before that, it was still a bunch of kingdoms, and then coming together and forming Italy proper as a country, and then the rise of fascism. And this film, in those elements, have some poignant moments. There's certain scenes that hit harder than others, but it just kind of feels like a string of scenes showing it's like, hey, look, this is how fascism rose, but that's about it. And we don't really feel connected to any of the characters in those elements of the film. So it's kind of just like an exercise in showing, hey, look, the fascists were bad. Like, there's this one, like, revolutionary who maybe we get a little bit more depth about and connection with, who, let's just say, doesn't end well for this socialist person in this rise of fascism. But unfortunately, a lot of this film just feels boring and uninteresting, which really shouldn't be the case when you have, like, the rise of fascism and the violence that ensues. Like, this movie shouldn't feel boring. And then it certainly doesn't feel boring when Padre Pio pops up on screen. But boring might not be the word, but out there and disjointed and just uncomfortable pop in your head. The perspective that they have with his character is just like, they basically just let Shia LaBeouf off a leash and just let him scream and shout F words and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, I haven't been in, like, CCD in a long time, and I don't spend a whole lot of time, like, looking up history of Catholicism. But I have a sinking feeling this is not what Padre Pio was like. And, like, I get they're trying to show him, like, trying to balance his faith and being challenged, and there's these scenes where he has these visions of these people who come to confront him, and he lashes out, and I just feel like this was just an exercise in showing that Shia LaBeouf could freak the F out on set, and he even feels so out of place in this film, because apparently he was supposed to do an Italian accent, but he didn't want to put on a mask as he's processing his new his new Catholicism that he took up while filming this film, and I'm just like, that sounds like a bunch of actor BS to be like, no, it's not part of my process anymore. And it's just like, he sticks out like a sore thumb, and I feel like there's only like 2 moments in this film that really feel poignant, and they're both at the end of the movie, so you have to sit through like an hour and 35 minutes to get there, and this film just felt so off place and just did not work, did not click for me. Maybe it will for you, especially if you're a big Abel Ferrara fan. I've not been a big fan. I've watched his films, and basically I see pieces that seem intriguing and have potential, and Willem Dafoe's always great, but most of the time they just feel so disjointed and all over the place that they don't really come together as a whole. And this one in particular is definitely one of the shakier ones that I've seen, and IMDb calling this a biography is a stretch. But those are my thoughts. on Padre Pio. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.